They are the most elite fighters on the planet, but in every war zone photo, they look like they just wandered in off the street. Beards, baseball caps, mismatched gear, it is the exact opposite of what armies demand from everyone else. But here is the paradox. Special operations forces risk everything by looking unprofessional for reasons that could mean life or death. Why did militaries worldwide enforce strict shaving when chemical weapons arrived in World War I, only for their best units to break the rule today? The real story rewrites everything you know about the line between survival and belonging. Subscribe, join the people who want the real story, and help us keep making these with you. In April 1915, clouds of chlorine gas drifted over the trenches at Ypres. Soldiers scrambled for anything to protect themselves: handkerchiefs, urine-soaked rags, even mud. Nothing stopped the burning. That single German attack unleashed 168 tons of poison, killing thousands in minutes and leaving survivors scarred for life. The panic forced armies to invent a new kind of survival gear, the gas mask. Early designs were simple canvas hoods, but their promise depended on one thing: a perfect seal against the skin. Any stubble or beard created tiny gaps, letting deadly gas seep through. By 1916, the British War Office issued a strict order: every soldier must shave daily, no exceptions. The rules spread across Allied armies, echoed in U.S. field manuals, and reinforced by commanders who had seen the cost of failure. Clean-shaven faces became a matter of life and death, not just discipline. Over time, the ritual of shaving before battle turned into a symbol of professionalism, but its roots were always technical, a razor's edge between survival and catastrophe. Long before the modern era, military advisors found ways to bend the rules when the mission demanded it. In 1916, T.E. Lawrence traveled the deserts of Arabia dressed not as a British officer, but in flowing robes with a dagger at his side. He wrote that if you can wear Arab kit when with the tribes, you will acquire their trust and intimacy to a degree impossible in uniform. The message was clear: dress for the people you need, not the army you serve. During World War II, British SAS patrols in North Africa ditched standard-issue khaki for local robes and scarves, moving across the desert as shadows, not targets. The Jedburgh teams of 1944 took it further, parachuting into occupied France in civilian clothes to organize resistance, risking execution as spies if caught out of uniform. These early exceptions were not about comfort or rebellion. They were calculated moves to survive, blend in, and earn trust. Each example set a quiet precedent. Sometimes the most effective soldiers are the ones who look least like soldiers at all. If you want more stories like this, subscribe and join the people who care. Help us keep making these. October 2001. A handful of American Green Berets landed in northern Afghanistan with orders that sounded impossible: find allies, gather intelligence, and open a path for the fight against the Taliban. Instead of standing out in crisp uniforms, these operators changed their look almost overnight. They swapped helmets for pakol caps, pulled on local tunics, and let their beards grow. One veteran from ODA 595 remembers the first meeting with General Dostum. He sized us up, saw the beards, and smiled. That is when the real conversation started. The team rode horses alongside Northern Alliance fighters, blending into the landscape and the culture. Photos from those first months show a mix of American rifles, Afghan clothing, and faces that looked nothing like the parade ground back home. This was not about hiding. It was about belonging. By looking less like foreign soldiers and more like neighbors, the Green Berets unlocked doors that would have stayed shut, earning trust and access no uniform could buy. In the mountains of Afghanistan, a beard is more than a style choice. It is a language. Among Pashtun elders, the beard signals adulthood, seriousness, and a place at the table. A clean-shaven face, especially on foreigners, often reads as inexperienced or even childish, and doors can close before a single word is spoken. Anthropologist Thomas Barfield calls Pashtunwali the unwritten code of honor, and in that code, beards are markers of respect and authority. For American Special Forces, growing a beard was not about comfort or rebellion. It was a social passport. Operators who let their beards grow found that conversations changed. Elders who once held back began to share warnings, offer routes, and name those who could be trusted or those who could not. One retired Green Beret remembers, "Elders would not talk until I grew one, and then intelligence flowed." In a place where trust can mean the difference between safety and ambush, the right appearance is not a detail. It is survival written on your face. Low visibility operations depend on more than just looking local. They hinge on not looking like a target at all. In crowded cities or dusty border towns, the difference between blending in and standing out can come down to a ball cap, a pair of jeans, or a faded flannel shirt under a plate carrier. Small choices like that drive how easily an operator can blend. This is the logic behind the so-called contractor silhouette. Instead of the crisp lines of a uniform, operators layer civilian clothes with tactical gear, dialing their appearance to fit the mission and the environment. The goal is not invisibility, it is to avoid broadcasting American military before a word is spoken. In an age where a single smartphone photo can get someone doxxed or tracked, reducing the obvious signals matters. There is also a psychological edge. Rugged, adaptable appearances project experience and unpredictability, qualities that can unsettle an adversary or earn a wary nod from a local. Endurance counts too. In the mountains, comfort is not a luxury, it is survival. Breathable layers, broken-in boots, and gear that bends with the body keep operators moving when the mission drags on for days. The mixed kit approach is not fashion. It is a toolkit, adjusted for every street, every meeting, and every threat. Inside the headquarters, the debate over appearance is not just about comfort or tradition, it is about what discipline looks like when the rules bend for the mission. Policy officers and senior commanders have long argued that relaxing grooming and uniform standards risks sending the wrong message, not just to the enemy, but to the rest of the force. For decades, the clean-shaven, squared-away look has been the military's shorthand for order and reliability. Some leaders worry that letting operators grow beards or wear mismatched gear opens the door to favoritism or a breakdown in standards. Yet in practice, the waiver process is almost routine for special forces. Official forms exist for everything from facial hair to non-standard boots, and commanders sign off when operational needs outweigh regulation. In 2017, the U.S. Army updated AR 6701 to formalize these exceptions, with about 80% of special operations units receiving grooming waivers during deployments. Critics inside the institution see this as privilege, while advocates insist it is a calculated trade, trading uniformity for access, trust, and sometimes survival. If you want more real stories like this, subscribe and join the people who care about what is true, not what looks good. The friction is not just about looks. It is about who gets to decide what discipline means when lives are on the line. Every policy officer in special operations knows the calculation by heart. Beards and stubble break the seal on a gas mask. In a chemical attack, that gap can mean the difference between life and death. But in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria, the daily threats were different. Ambushes, IEDs, and insider attacks happened every week. Chemical weapons were rare. In 2 decades of deployments, confirmed incidents against U.S. Special Forces were almost non-existent. The risk was not ignored. It was measured. Commanders weighed the ODDS. A beard might let in poison gas in a 1 in 1,000 scenario, but every day it opened doors to local allies, information, and early warnings that kept teams alive. The policy was clear. If intelligence showed a real chemical threat, the order came down. Shave immediately. No exceptions. Until then, the look was conditional, not cosmetic. Operators stayed ready to adapt, razors in their packs, appearance always tied to the mission, never to fashion. If you want more real stories like this, subscribe and join the people who care about what is true, not what looks good. In today's conflicts, perception shapes survival as much as firepower. The world's most elite units still break the mold because blending in can mean coming home. Authenticity, not appearance, is the new discipline. The question now: will the institutions catch up, or will the battlefield keep rewriting the rules? Subscribe. Join the people who care about what is true, not what looks good. Help us keep making these.